But what we are going to do is we are going to convert all of our SAT scores and freshman year GPA scores into z-scores because we're going to see another relationship here. So we're going to do that all at one time, and we're going to allow the calculator to do this with us. And we're going to use some of the list powers that we have with the calculator, or I should say some of the power that the calculator has with the list, in order to take care of this. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to bring up a blank sheet here, and we're going to take a look at the graph that we have, and we'll be able to just drag it over here, or we could just drag it over here, or we could just drag it over here. There it is, and we're going to keep this graph right here. Okay, now let's do the work of doing some calculations here. We're going to go to Stat, we're going to go to Edit, and we're going to go to L3. And in L3, we're going to calculate the z-scores. And again, z is equal to x of I minus the mean over the standard deviation. So I need to figure all of those out. Okay, not that bad of an idea. So when I look at the calculator, I need to sit there and think, up here in the menu for L3, that's what I'm going to put. I'm going to put x of I minus the mean over the standard deviation. But because of the way the calculator works and the calculator works as it sees, I need to have parentheses around here. Fine. But I also need to have the mean. Do I have the mean? No, I don't. And I don't have the standard deviation. How do I get that information? One variable stats. So, favorite button in the whole world, stat, gonna go to calculate, one variable stats for what? L1. All right, one variable stats for L1. Here we are. Important information. The mean for the SAT scores is 1,057.33. Standard deviation 143.30. Okay, now I could type this information in. I don't want to. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to allow the calculator to use this variable of x bar and this variable of standard deviation because it has these variables in there. I'm going to use those variables in my calculation. So stat, edit, in L3, and I have to make sure that you're in the menu for L3. Make sure you're up here where it says L3. If you do it down here, it's not going to work. Got to be up here in the menu for L3. Start up exactly what we see. Parenthesize x of I, which means my value of interest. Where's my value of interest? It's my SAT scores. Where are they? L1. L1 minus, yep, it did go. Minus what? Minus the mean. Where's the mean? Well, the mean is 1,057.33, but it's 0.33 repeating, and I can't get all those 0.3333s in there. So I'm going to use the variable of x bar. So I go to variable, because it's a variable. What type of variable is it? Hey, look, it's a statistic variable. Okay, I'll choose statistic variable, and number 2 is x bar. How convenient is that? Now look underneath there, there's standard deviation. Very convenient. So I'm going to choose number 2. It'll automatically drop it in there. Close my parenthesis. Divide by standard deviation. We just saw where it was. It's a variable. It's a statistical variable. It's number 3. I hit enter, and I get all the z-scores at once. Now, here's what I know. Thinking about how this works. This score right here is 1160. 1160 is, in comparison with the mean of 1,057, it's bigger. How much bigger is it? Well, it happens to be, here's the z-score, 0.716 standard deviations above the mean. Not quite one standard deviation above the mean, but 0.716 standard deviations above the mean. And let's think about what this means. Let's go and talk about a normal curve here for a second. Here's a normal curve. Here we are at the mean of 1,057. If I go one standard deviation in each direction, so here I am at 0 at the mean, I go +1, I go -1, I'm about there, I'm about there. If I went 243 up, 243, because that was the mean, 243 would put me right at about 1,300. Okay, if I went 243 that way, I'd be at 814. What percent of the data should lie within this range? Well, that should be 68%. 5% of the data. Our score of 1160 might be like about there. That was a z-score of 0.71. Well, you know what? That actually looks like it's making sense. Okay, going back to the calculator. So here we are, and here we are, an SAT score of 860. It's below the mean. How far is it below the mean? 1.377. Coming back after the beep.